Hello students, welcome to the MEMONEET. Myself Pratik Sir, your biology SME. So yes, as you already know that we are at the end of this chapter. So I have in the previous I have already uploaded two videos. One is basic concepts on the structural organization in animals, where I've already explained everything like about the cells, then the tissues, types of tissues, and its function, everything in detail. Uh, which is actually the more because some of the syllabus you won't find in the NCERT textbook. It is new NCERT textbook, so those syllabus also have covered in the first video, and the second video have discussed about the morphology and anatomy of frog. So their morphology, physical appearance, anatomy, coming to its digestive system, excretory system, respiratory system, circulatory system, then coming to the neural system, nervous system, and right. So these are all things. Their reproductive system, both male and female reproductive system. So everything in detail was explained. So another one concept was remained, so which is not in your new NCERT textbook, that is the morphology and structure of the anatomy of the cockroach. So that topic or that aspect will also be covered in this video. So as you can see or generalized, that basically cockroaches, they are found everywhere. Like most of them, they're resident to, your home. You'll find them in your kitchen, home, majorly in the darkest places. You will be finding them, right? So cockroach are brown in color and black in color. That is what we generally know it, right? So in general, we know that cockroaches are brown in color, black in color, but there are also some cockroaches which are bright yellow, red, and green colored cockroaches have also been reported where in the tropical region. So that is what they're saying. Like even some other new species of cockroaches which are brown, bright yellow, red, and green kind of colored body cockroaches have also been reported in the tropical region. So this cockroach, they comes under class Insecta and the phylum Arthropoda. So the size of the cockroaches ranges from 1 by 4th to 3 inch in size, that is 0.6 to 7.6 centimeter in size. So they have actually the long antenna. You can actually see a very long antenna. Then it has legs and flat extension of the upper body. So this flat, so can you see this upper body is something very flat extension, and it also contains what? It conceals head. That means it has head region, upper body. So they are basically nocturnal animal. That is, they're more active in the night time and in the dark time. And they're omnivorous animals. That is, they depend on both, uh, you know, plants as well as animals. That means they normally eat upon, like if you see generally the cockroach, they even eat upon what? Some of the food that you prepare, right? So that food also it eats up, and it also eats the skin of human beings or animals, and it also eats on some flesh, right? So they are found in the damp places where smelly areas and all throughout the world. So they have become a resident of human house. That means you will actually find them very commonly in the human house. So they are actually some serious pest insect also, because they also carry many disease. They are actually a vector. They act as a vector for carrying of many disease causing microorganisms or infectious pathogens. So that's why they act as a vector. So they can contaminate the food or contaminate the places. And when we inhale those food or when we touch the contaminated places without knowing, obviously the disease, the infection will be spread to the humans also. So the adult, major, very common adult species that you find oftenly are Periplaneta americana. So while you are writing, always you should remember they should be underlined separately. The first name should be capital and the second name should be small. So Planeta americana is the most common species you will find across everywhere, which is around 34 to 53 millimeter in length. So it has long wings that extends till the tip of your abdomen. So till the tip of your abdomen, where in the male. Okay. So it also been the segment. So you can actually see the segmented body also. So the body, the entire cockroach body is divided into head, thorax, and the abdomen. Okay. So head, thorax, and abdomen. And entire body of this cockroach has been covered by a very hard chitinous exoskeleton, which is brown in color. Okay, which is brown in color. And in each segments, okay, like say in each segments, you will actually find in each segments the exoskeleton, it has the hardened plates, which has a very hardened plates, which is actually is called as scleritis. Okay, each will be having an hardened plate, which is actually called as scleritis. So they are, these plates are something that joined to each other, like in this way. So in this way, they are being joined to each other. You're getting, so they are being joined to each other by a thin and flexible articular. So they are being joined to each other with thin flexicular articular uh, membrane. Coming to its head region of the cockroach. Head region is triangular in shape, and it normally lies anterior at the right angle to the longitudinal body axis. So it has a formed by the fusion of six segments and shows great mobility in all the direction because it has a flexible, it actually has a flexible neck, so it has a greater mobility so that it can move its neck in all the direction, that is 360 direction. Then you also see a head, it actually bears a compound pair of compound eyes. Okay, a bears a capsule bearing a pair of compound eyes. Then a pair of thread like antenna also arises from the membranous sockets, which lies in front of the spiritus, in front of the eyes. Then antenna, the major thing of the antenna is the major thing of the antenna is it acts as a, it has a sensory receptors, okay, which normally helps in monitoring the environment. So any environmental changes or any disturbance in environment, it will immediately catch, the antenna will immediately catch, and it is going to convey to the brain. So anterior end of the head bears what, so this is the anterior end of the head, it normally bears the appendages, which is forming the biting and chewing type of the mouth part. So in general, it bears what, mouth part. Okay, coming to the mouth part of the cockroach. So you will see that in the mouth part of the cockroach, you will see that the mouth part consists of the labium. So this is the labium. So can you see this labium here? So the next is it consists of the mandible. So this is the mandible. So a pair of mandible and pair of what? Maxilla. So the here you will find the maxilla. And also you will find the labium also. This is the labium. So labrum you will find. So this is the labrum, right? You will find the labrum, then a pair of mandible, pair of maxilla, and labium. So you will also find a tongue region also, which is a medium which is present lies within the cavity enclosing in the mouth part, that is hypopharyn, which is actually a tongue. So this acts as a tasting one. So mandible acts as a teeth. It helps in grinding, cutting and grinding. So where maxilla helps in the holding. So labium will take out whatever the food that you are actually indigesting. So this is a part of what, the mouth part of the cockroach. Coming to its portion, that is then coming to its morphological aspects. So we know that the thorax consists of three parts. So what are those? So that is you have head region, thorax, and abdomen, right? So this region is actually called as thorax region. This is the head region and abdomen. So the thorax will be consisting of three parts. So one is the prothorax. Okay, the first region will be the prothorax and the pronotum or prothorax. The second will be the mesothorax, and the next one will be the metathorax. So totally, how many thorax you will be seeing? Three parts will be there. So one is prothorax, metathorax, and the mesothorax and the metathorax. Next, coming to this head, right? So head has been connected to the thorax, right? So head has been connected with the thorax by a shorter extension of the prothorax. So these prothorax is somewhat extended where head has been connected. Shorter extension of the prothorax, which is known as neck region. So each thoracic segments bears a pair of legs. So in the prothorax, you will actually find one pair of leg. In the mesothorax, you will find another pair of leg, and in the metathorax also you will find the another pair of metathoracic leg, then mesothoracic leg. Okay, so in that way. So another one is teg, prothoracic prothoracic leg. So can you see here the prothoracic leg which actually appears from the prothorax, then the mesothoracic leg appears from the mesothorax, and metathoracic leg appears from the metathorax. Okay, so each will be consisting of the pair of legs which are from each segment, which helps in the walking. So the first pair, and you will also see a pair of the first pair of wings arises from the, so this is the mesothorax, right? So the first pair of eggs with no, wings majorly rises from the mesothorax, and the second pair of the wings rises from the metathorax region. Okay. Then what about the forewings? The forewings, which is actually called as the mesothoracic ring. So they are actually called as stegma. Okay. So they are basically called as tegmium. Sorry, they are actually called as tegmina. So can you see this? So this is actually the forewing, which is called as tegmina. Okay. And this tegmina is actually dark in color, opaque dark in color, and it is leathery and covered with it covers the hind wings when at resting. At the resting time, it normally covers the hind wings. So hind wings are very transparent and it helps in the flight. Okay, which is transparent, membranous, and they are used in the flight. During the resting part, what happens? This tegmina, which is dark, right? It covers the hind wing. Getting now? So this thing will cover the hind wing. So hind wing, as you can see, it is very dark. It is very transparent and light membranous. They are used for flighting. So if you see, if you observe this part, so just imagine it is in resting, then this entire hind wing has been covered by the tegmina. Okay. Then coming to its abdominal, so we get to know about the thorax. Head part is so in the head part, what we have seen a compound eyes, then we have seen a antenna, the mouth part of the cockroach. Then in the thorax region, we had studied about the three parts. One is prothorax, metathorax, and mesothorax. Then prothorax, from these pair of leg emerges, that is prothoracic leg, mesothoracic leg, and metathoracic leg, right? So, and even we have studied about the tegmina and hind wings. So, what is the color of the tegmina? Which is opaque, dark, and leathery, and it covers the hind wing. So, where hind wing is transparent in color and it is membranous and it's used for flight. So, during resting condition, what happens? The hind wing is being covered by the tegmina. So where tegmina basically it acts as a protective one. Okay. So this was about the thoracic region. So then last region is abdomen region. So in abdomen, what happens in both male as well as female? It normally consists of around 10 segments. Whereas in female, if you consider the female, see, the seventh segments, the seventh segment, and each segment I told you I'll be calling it as sternum, right? So in the female, the seventh sternum is actually a boat shaped structure, and it has been attached together with the, so the seventh segment, which is boat like in shape, together with the ninth, eighth, as well as ninth segment, okay, together with 8 and so this is 8 and ninth segment, together with 8 and 9 segment, or the sterna, it forms a brood or genital pouch. It forms a brood or genital pouch whose anterior part, that is upper part, contains the female gonopore. This is one thing. And another thing, it also contains the spermatical pores. And another one thing, it also contains the collateral glands. So these are the three things it will be consisting where. So in female, seventh sternum, which is actually boat-like structure, together with the eighth as well as ninth sterna, it forms a brood or the genital pouch whose anterior part will be containing the female gonopore, spermatical pores, and the collateral glands. This is one point in respect to the female. So what about male then? In males, what happens? In males, the genital pouch, okay, or the chamber, it actually lies in the hind. It lies in the hind end of abdominal, bounded dorsally by where ninth and 10th terga. In male, normally when I'm talking about them, we normally call them as sternum. Then in the ninth and 10th region of the tergal, that is ventrally on the ninth region of the sternum, you will see this abdominal, genital pouch region. So this genital pouch, again, it contains dorsal anus, ventral main genital pore, and the gonna popsis. Okay, these are the three things. That means it contains the dorsal anus, where it contains the dorsal anus, ventral main genital pore, and gonna pop physics. So gonapophysics is something which it will be consisting of. So here what happens, the male bears a pair of the short thread-like and styles which are absent in the female. So in both the sexes, what happens, the 10th segment bears a pair of jointed filamentous structure which is called as anal cerci. Okay, so can you see this anal cerci, which is somewhat jointed and filamentous? Okay, in both male and female, where you will find exactly in the 10th segment, you will find them. So this is actually a picture showing the dissection of, digestive system. So even in masters, we had a separate, paper called entomology, where we were supposed to have a dissection in the lab. So where we were supposed to dissect the mouth part, just like this mouth part. Also, we were supposed to show them under the microscope. Then we had to dissect this entire thing, and we had to show a proper digestive system and the nervous system of the frog. So yeah, this is one of the picture when you dissect it and when you want to absorb the digestive system, this is how you will see them. And this is from the initial stage to the developmental stage, matlab from egg sac to the adult being. So this is how it normally looks. So coming to its anatomy part, anatomy where you will be finding the very first is the digestive system. See, in the anatomy, we have the digestive system of the cockroach, right? So the alimentary canal. So can you see this alimentary canal? So it presents in the body cavity. It normally divide into the foregut region. Then we have the midgut region and the hindgut region. Right. So this is the foregut region, and foregut region, the midgut region, and the hindgut region. So what happens is the mouth opens into a shorter tubular pharynx. So mouth normally opens from the pharynx regions leading to the narrow, okay, tubula passing through the esophagus. Now from the esophagus, it will move to it turns open into a sac-like structure which is called as crop. So what is the basic function of the crop is it used for the storing of the food, storage of food. Okay. So after that we have, so this after crop region, it is allowed to the gizzard region. So gizzard region, it has a outer layer of the thick circular muscles or that are very thick inner cuticles. So gizzard region in general, it has a six highly chitinous plates which are actually called as teeth. So therefore, gizzard, it helps in the grinding of food particles. So after the gizzard region, it enters, okay, it enters the foregut is leaned with the cuticle. So this is how basic thing happens till here. Then from the foregut region, okay, from so till the gizzard, okay, so till the gizzard, you will actually see the foregut region. So then it enters into the foregut is leaned by the cuticle. Then we will be seeing the midgut region. Midgut region is actually called as mesentery or it is the midgut region. This region is actually the midgut region. So a ring of 6 to 8 blind tubules are present, right? So they are actually called as, so can you see the ring like something tube like structure, which is actually called as hepatic cacea. So hepatic caca is somewhat a ring-like or a tube-like structure which is present in the junction of the foregut region, okay, and the midgut region. So between the midgut and the foregut region in the junction, you will see this hepatic caca. So the major function of this is it normally secretes the digestive juice. Okay. So at the junction of the midgut and hindgut, there is the presence of another ring which is 100 to 150 yellow colored thin filamentous malphigian tubules. So you will now we are going to see the malphigian tubules here. Okay. So this is the malphigian tubules. So, what is the major function of this malphizian tubules? It helps in the removal of the excretory product from the. It helps in the removal of the excretory product from the hemolymph. So then we will go to the hindgut. So it is brood than the midgut. Okay, hindgut is actually somewhat brood than the midgut region, and it has been differentiated into hilum, then colon, and the rectum. So rectum is the end part of the digestive system which opens through the anus. So this is about the digestive system. Coming to its circulatory part, the blood vascular system of the cockroach is actually the open type. Okay. And it is colorless. That's why when you kill a cockroach, you won't find red blood. Instead, whitish, something chipko kind of gummy kind of you will find. So that is actually a blood. So and it is colorless. That's why you there is no presence of red pigment. That's why you're seeing it colorless or white. So blood vessels are poorly developed in the cockroach and open into hemocoel. Okay. Then we have vesicular organs. These vesicular organs are located where in the hemocoel and they are bathed in blood. That is these vesicular organs, right? So they are directly bathed in the blood. That is nothing but the hemophile. So these hemolymphs, okay. So these hemolymphs, they normally composed of the, as I told, they're colorless. That is, this composed of the colorless plasma and hemocytes. You should always know that the blood vesicle system of the cockroach is an open type. So because it has a blood vessels are very poorly developed and it opens into the hemocoel, then this vesicular system, right, they are located in the hemocoel. They are bathed directly in the blood, that is hemolymph. So this hemolymph is actually composed of the colorless plasma and the hemocytes. So heart of the cockroach consists of the elongated muscular type, which is elongated muscular tube lying along the mid dorsal line of the thorax and in the abdominal region. So it is differentiated into funnel shaped chamber with ostia or either side. So blood from sinus enters the heart through the ostia and is pumped anteriorly to sinuses again. Okay, so this is all about the chamber of heart. So where you will find the chamber of heart, you will actually find the chamber of heart in the posterior part. Okay, heart of the chamber you will actually find in the posterior part, which is somewhat elongated tube like along the mid dorsal line of the thorax you will find, and the abdominal part you will find them. Coming to its respiration or reproductive or respiratory part, so the respiratory system consists of network of the tracheae that opens through 10 pairs of small holes called as spiracles, which is actually present on the lateral side of the body. Okay, so in the lateral side of the body you will actually find this spiracles. Then these spiracles, it has thin branched tube. Okay, thin branched tubes which are actually subdivided into the tracheoles. So these thin branched tubes, they normally carry this oxygen from the air to the other parts of the body. The opening of the spiracles is regulated by the spectacles, which is exchange of the gases takes place at the tracheoles by the diffusion method. Okay. And coming to the excretion part, so it is excretion in the cockroach is actually performed by the malphizian tubules. And each tubule is linked by the glandular as well as the ciliated cells, glandular and ciliated cells. So they absorb what nitrogenous waste product and convert them into, this is again very important. They absorb the nitrogenous waste product and convert them into uric acid, which is excreted out through where? Through the hindgut region. Therefore, this insect is actually called as ureotelic insect. Okay, that is ureotelic insect as it excretes the uric acid. Okay. And in addition, the fat body, nephrocytes, and ureose glands are also helps in the excretion in the cockroach. Its nervous system, the nervous system of the cockroach consists of series of fused, segmented, arranged ganglia, which is joined by paired longitudinal connectivities of the ventral side. So you will actually see the three ganglia which lies in the thorax region and six in the abdomen region. So the nervous system is cockroach, it is actually spread entire body throughout the body of the cockroach. Then the head actually holds a small bit of nervous system, while the rest is situated along the ventral, that is in the belly side part of the body. So now you understand that if the head of the cockroach is cut off, it will still be alive, okay, and it still be walking because only very few is been resist, or it will be rest in the head region. Okay, so where rest of the nervous system is being broadly, it is being present all over the body. Therefore, if you even cut the head part of the cockroach also, but still you will see the cockroach walking. Okay, even longer for say like 1 week it will be keep on walking. So in the head region the brain is represented by the supra, so where it is, yeah, so it is been represented by the supra esophageal ganglion, which actually supplies the nerves to the antenna and the compound eye. Then in compound, cockroach, coming to its sensory organs, we have antenna as a sensory organs, eyes, maxillary pulp, uh, labia pulp, and sessi. So these are the one which have the sensory organs of the cockroach. So the compound eye are actually situated in the dorsal surface of the head, as we know. High, this one very important thing is it consists of about 2000 hexagonal amatites. Okay, hexagonal amatites. That is, if this is a compound eye, right? So this is how the structure will be. Something. So it will be around 2000. So that's why if cockroach is seeing some, like say if a cockroach is seeing me, it will be seeing my reflections around like 2000, something like that. So with the help of several amatites, the cockroach can receive several images of the object. That means it can pre-predict what is going to happen. That's why cockroach is very fast in running and all. This kind of vision is actually called as, very important for your NEET maybe they might ask you. So this kind of vision is actually called as or known as mosaic vision, with more sensitivity but less resonance. Okay. So being common during night, hence they are called as nocturnal vision. So because they are basically more active, this kind of vision is more active during the night time. So coming to its reproductive part, okay, reproductive part of the cockroach. So we know that cockroach is dioecious. That means in cockroach you will actually find both male and both the sexes, male and female sexes have well developed reproductive organs. When coming to the male reproductive system, it consists of a pair of testes, one lying on each lateral side in the fourth to sixth abdominal segment. In the fourth and sixth abdominal segment, you will actually see the reproductive part of the uh, cockroach, that is male reproductive part, which consists of the pair of testes. They normally lie in the side of the fourth, sixth abdominal segment. From each testis, there arises a thin vas deferens. Okay, vas deferens, which opens into ejaculatory duct through the seminal vesicles. And these ejaculatory duct, right, they opens into the male gonopore, which is situated in the ventral to the anus. Then a characteristic mushroomed shape, a characteristic mushroom shaped gland which is present in the sixth as well as seventh abdominal segment. So, which functions as an accessory reproductive gland. So, what is the function? It acts as an accessory reproductive gland. And you will also find an external genitalia, which are represented by the male, which is actually, which is external genitalia, which is called as gono gonopophysics, which is chitinous asymmetrical structure, which is surrounding the male gonopore. Then we have the sperms, which are actually stored in seminal vesicles. And these seminal vesicles, these are actually the seminal vesicles, and this is the testis that we are talking about. Okay, and the seminal vesicle. So, yeah. This is the seminal vesicles and the glued together. That means they are being joined together in the form of bundles. They are called as spermatoporous. Okay, they are called as what? Spermatoporous, which are distinct during the copulation. This is one point about the male reproductive part. In female, what happens? The female reproductive system consists of two large ovaries. Okay, it normally consists of, can you see here? So, two large ovaries. These are the two large ovaries lying laterally in the second and sixth abdominal segment. Each ovary is formed of a group of eight ovarian tubules or ovules containing a chain of developing ova. So oviduct of each ovary unite into a single medium oviduct, which is called as vagina, so which opens into a genital chamber. Okay, so in this genital chamber, it has been opened. So genital chamber where it is present, it is actually present in the genital pouch. Then a pair of the spermatheca is also present. So can you see the spermatheca here? So a pair of spermatheca will be present in the sixth segment, which opens into where it is opened in the genital chamber. It is from the spermatheca, it is open to the genital chamber, right? So when the fertilization happens, the sperms are transferred. So where exactly the sperms are actually transferred here? The sperms are transferred through this spermatophores. Okay, the sperms will be transferred through the spermatophores. Their fertilized egg. So fertilization happens, and their fertilized egg are encapsulated in the capsule, which is called as ootheca. So in the ootheca, the fertilized egg will be present. Okay, these ootheca is actually a dark reddish in color to blackish brown in capsule, which is of 1 by 8, that is 8 millimeter and long. So they are dropped or glued to the suitable surface, usually in the crack or in the highly relatively humidity near the food sources. That means those egg, they are being dropped. So egg is produced, right? So they will be dropped or they are going to lay egg where on the surface where somewhat bluish thing, okay, or where highly humidity is present and food availability is more, there only it is going to drop its egg. On an average, the female can produce around 9 to 10 ootheca, and each ootheca will be containing what? 14 to 16 egg now. So that means, and an average, if it has 9 to 10, it produces the 9 to 10 Utica, and each one will be consisting 4 to 16. That means it can lay more than 100 eggs. Okay. Then this development of Peripatia americana is pyrometra. So it is actually the pyrometabolysis. That is nothing but meaning is it has a development where the development through the nymph stage. Okay, so exactly the nymph stage is nothing but it initial stage looks like its adult stage. They're very much like the adult itself. So that is the nymphal stage. Okay, so that looks where nymphs exactly looks like its adult. So this nymph grows by molding around 13 times, but then shedding its skin 13 times to in order to reach the adult form. So the next two last limp stage will start where the wings will start producing, and once it reaches to the adult, it will be having a very fine wings, and in the adult stage only it will be able to fly also. So this is all about reproductive part and how exactly the development takes place in the cockroach. So economically, there is nothing, much about the cockroach, but many species of cockroach are wild and are no such economic importance. But, there are very few species thrives in and around the human habitat. They are pest because, they destroy the food and contaminate the food with their and it makes it very smelly, exactly. And they are transmitter of various bacterial diseases by contaminating of the food. So this was all about the morphology and anatomy of the cockroach. So what I want you guys to do is please go through all the basic aspects and once read the NCRT textbook and you can follow my PPT as it is purely 100% NCRT line by line. And I want you guys to comment, how's your preparation going on, and you want some extra classes or something, so that I can plan up and come up with new strategies to convey the best way to you all. Okay. So, what I want one thing from you guys is comments. Thank you.